NFC East.
Who will win the NFC East? Ding. Back a couple, many moons, I said Washington would if Alex Smith became the starter. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that now, but that's what I said back then.
I don't agree with that. I think it's gonna end up being Philly.
Really?
I do. Somehow they just oh god, that division just sucks so hard. I can't.
They're just all such underachievers. It's like,
but there's a huge lack of talent in that division too.
Definitely.
They all have one good group, but Dallas right now, their receiver group is good, but who knows who's playing quarterback, and I don't know. I just don't trust Dallas or Mike McCarthy.
About Dallas.
Pardon?
I said you don't got to worry about Dallas, even though they still could win the division.
They still could very easily win the division.
Yeah.
They're 1 game back, 2 games back now.
Yeah.
It's Philly's the only one with a franchise, quote unquote franchise QB, and that's, well, I know we've had this discussion on the podcast before. I'm not a big Carson Wentz guy. I think he's the mope of the year.
I like him, but I think on the flip side, I think Daniel Jones, dude, I think he's a good quarterback, man.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think Daniel Jones is a really good quarterback too, and they just beat Philly.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're out of the picture either. I don't know, man. The team that wins this division might have 5 or 6 wins.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
And it's going to be a 5 or 6 win team that gets a home game in the playoffs.
Right. See, I think the Giants are going to go on a run now. I think Daniel Jones is solid. They got Sterling Shepard. They got Evan Ingram. Wayne Gallman's been a good backup for really Saquon. Good. Their O-line is decent enough. If Nate Solder was playing, because he opted out because of COVID, I mean, that would really anchor things down. But on their defense, Jabril Peppers is no slouch.
Leonard Williams is having a good year.
So, I really think, Daniel Jones, we were joking about it, saying, no guy with sleeves like that should be running that fast.
He's an athlete, man.
Dude, he's a good runner.
Yeah.
He's a dynamic dude. And there's a lot of the Eli Manning comparisons and stuff, but it's he's way...
Eli could never move like that.
And that's that next wave quarterback thing that we've been talking about. You have to have movement now.
Yeah.
He could be an RPO guy. He can extend the play with his feet. And Sterling Shepard is a dynamic enough playmaker himself. And they also have Golden Tate.
He's been absent from the team, though. I think they pardoned him from games, scratched him from games.
I thought he played in the last game.
Maybe he played in the last game, but I saw 2 weeks ago they didn't let him play because of his effort.
Which is surprising. But Sterling Shepard on his own and Evan Ingram, I think, are
And Darius Slayton, he's a really underrated receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's from Auburn. But he's been really good for that team, and him and Daniel Jones have something going. I don't know if he's healthy or not. I don't follow the Giants closely enough, but I could definitely see the Giants making a run and winning this division. The thing is it's so wide open. Washington could easily still win the division. Philly, I don't know who's in first now. Is Philly still in first?
I think Philly might just be because they had an overtime
loss. Because they're 3-5-1 right now.
Or they had a tie. Yeah, they had an overtime tie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think they're just in first, but the Giants are 3-7 now.
Yeah.
So honestly, dude, I could legitimately see the Giants going to the playoffs and winning in the first round, because I think the NFC, the disparage between the top 2 teams and down is so much bigger. I think the AFC is way deeper this year than the other way around, because you got Tampa. Seattle's defense is trash now. We're seeing it more and more and more. Then you got the Cardinals, who are looking really, really good.
You got
Green Bay, who are Jekyll and Hyde more than anyone.
Yep.
24-20 against Jacksonville this year. Or sorry, this past week. Then you have... I already mentioned the Rams, who are looking really good.
Yeah, the Rams.
But also a beatable team. beatable team, somewhat Jekyll and Hyde in themselves. And who's the other? So yeah, Tampa, New Orleans. Drew Brees is injured. You got.
I mean, the Vikings are putting together a nice stretch too. They've won 3 in a row now.
Right.
You know?
Also Jekyll and Hyde, though.
Yeah,
It's like they're so dependent on Dalvin Cook.
But you haven't said one team that I would pick the Giants to win over.
I just mean in terms of going on a run in the playoffs in prime time.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, right? But it's...
You got to remember, those Giants teams that won the Super Bowl were 9-7.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't great teams themselves, and that's just kind of been the DNA of the NFC East, right? So I'm not saying that they could go on a Super Bowl run, but I could see them getting a lucky first-round win somehow, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Philly to win this division, but it's going to be ugly, and I hate that they're allowed to even make the playoffs. They should just be revoke the NFC East.
NBA style,
yeah,
top 8 from each conference.
Like, no one wants to watch an NFC East team in the playoffs.
Right. I mean, I do think Daniel Jones would be kind of fun to watch in the playoffs. But, so, I'm going to go, I got the Giants winning the NFC East.
At what record?
8-8. I think they go on a run.
You think they lose one game the rest of the season?
Yeah.
They go 5-1 the rest of the season.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you clip this.
That's going to be clipped.
Yeah, clip this, because I want this to be hard evidence that you're calling the Giants.
Last time you called me out on this, I was right on my bold predictions.
What was that?
It was it was like the 42-36 score, and it ended up being like 38 something.
Okay, fine, but that's very different from predicting 5-1 in the next 6 weeks for the Giants. If that happens,
how many more times will they play NFC East teams?
I don't know.
Well, we should have a producer.
Yeah, Jamie, pull that up.
Riff for a second. Riff on why you think it'll be Philly.
It's just even though there's been a lot of roster turnover from their Super Bowl run, they have a coach that's been there. Mm-hmm. They have players that have been there, and I don't know. I think maybe if they can get slightly healthier, I think they're the best team. They have they're the most talented team in that division. Definitely,
but I mean they got Miles Sanders back last week. They got Lane Johnson back. They got Alshon Jeffrey back. I know they don't have Zach Ertz, but it's like, what more does Carson Wentz need to start to get it going, dude? It's like I've gone on record saying I really believe in Carson Wentz, and I think he is.
And I've gone on record saying I don't believe in Carson Wentz.
Right.
So but I just think all around, other than Carson Wentz, that's a better team. They're playing so bad right now, but I think they're gonna end up winning somehow, and it'll probably be at 7-8-1.
Right. Okay. So we got the schedule. So they're on bye this week. Then they got Cincinnati Bengals. They got the Seahawks. They got the Cardinals, the Browns, the Ravens.
That is a brutal schedule. You have them going 5-1 there?
I think they'll win Cincinnati. I think they can win Seattle.
No way.
They could totally beat Seattle. Looking
at that, they win 2 of those games.
The Browns, I'm going to say they don't win. I'm going to say that's the one they win.
So they're gonna go to Baltimore and beat the Ravens. They're going to go to Seattle and beat the Seahawks.
Okay, maybe they lose 2 of those. Maybe they go 7-9.
I think the Bengals game is going to be really close. I think they lose to the Seahawks, they lose to the Cardinals, they lose to the Browns, and they lose to the Ravens.
Okay. I'm saying 8-8. I'm sticking with it. I said it already.
All right, clip it.
But I'll also go for 7-9.